What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It is the Planet Podcast back for another show. Hey, hi, everybody. It is your host, Medusa Maybe, and we are back with another great episode of the Planet Podcast. We got a lot of things to discuss, so I'm going to go ahead and let my team introduce themselves, and we're going to hop right into it. So, Cassio, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My bad. What's up, everybody? This is Cassio. This is Cassio. Thank you once again, EGOBN, for letting me rock with you all. I'm gonna try to give you all I can, the best I can, for as long as I can. And yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me be here. So,
Really, really fast, I have to say this because King Lightskin says something happened. He can't hear anybody. So he actually asked me not to start, but I kind of already started.
oh,
So we
we
gonna
can
just
start over.
go. Yeah,
Oh,
we gonna just go because I've already
Wow. I
started.
hear y'all now. That's what y'all
oh,
finna
All
do?
right.
Y'all
King
finna start
Lightskin,
without me,
introduce
huh?
me.
I,
I'm at
I
you.
just, I just
Y'all
suggested
finna
we start
start without
over.
me. Nah, the public finna hear this. Y'all finna start without me, huh?
Yeah.
I'm blowing up the group chat.
Okay,
I'm
hey
blowing up the
guys,
group
guys,
chat.
guys,
No,
guys.
Terrence.
I would
No,
consider it
Terrence.
a,
No,
I
Terrence.
would consider it a
No.
birthday present if you guys didn't fight on my birthday.
No. They finna hear
Got
Oh,
you.
this. I'm
Got you.
blowing up the group chat. Like, tell y'all I can't hear y'all. Nobody saw that.
what?
I
No,
saw
It's
yeah.
your
it.
text. I saw your text, but by then I had already started the show. I was legit about to do your intro for you when magic happened and you came back, like the light skinned gods are
Just go on. We just
for
go
one
on
of
with it.
their own. It's
Just
even
go
your
on
turn
with
to
it.
introduce yourself,
I don't even want
though.
to talk no more.
We love you, love you.
I'm gonna let Terrence go before me because it's his birthday.
Wow.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so hold on.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
I gotta get I gotta get back in my zone.
Okay. Okay.
There you
All
go.
right.
You got to get the kinks
What
out.
it is, lady. Right.
Hey, Rangers,
Perfect.
Riders, and Magical Girls. It's your favorite Toku reviewer, Toku Terry, once again.
And happy
Um,
birthday to you, bro.
Happy
thanks.
birthday, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. 27 years old. Did not expect to make it to 18, so this is just. So I've been playing it by ear for the last 9 years. Not gonna lie,
Same.
but
Same.
we're here. We're here once again to give you the black perspective on all the news that you want to hear.
I don't know how to follow with that amazing introduction. But again, happy birthday, my guy. This your boy Jensen, man, owner of Jensen's World. Finna talk about the usual amazing topics that we usually have. We'll keep it simple today because they start the show without me. I'm in my feelings.
He's in his light skin feelings, ladies and gentlemen. And that intro was enough because there was no juice, no excitement to that intro. So
Oh
so we
no.
all know what kind of podcast this is about to be. It's gonna be the light skin reigns
I chose to make you people my friends. I sat there and I made this decision, and I said this is a smart plan.
See? Jason, lighten up. Like literally. See,
I heard you. I want to explain for this to go, but I heard you.
What? She said like no.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's all coming out for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why. My bad. Okay. I'm so glad we are not live because I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry. Shut up. Shut up, Cassio. I don't know where that came from. So, in honor of Toku Terry's birthday, okay, we just don't go ahead and like jump right into the
Yay.
subject. Happy birthday, Toku Terry.
Thank you. All right.
All right. So, good old Ray Fisher, who we have talked about even before the movie came out. You know what I'm saying? I think we touched base on this a little bit in the last podcast about all the allegations he had against Joss Whedon. You know, at the time he didn't really divulge a lot of information, so we didn't know if his problems were like genuine or if it was the fact that he was I think one of the least prestigious actors in that movie, right? compared to, Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, you know what I'm saying? Fuck Ezra Miller, I don't care about him. So we didn't know if he was complaining from that perspective or if he really, suffered some shit, you know what I'm saying, during his time filming with Joss Whedon. Well, he recently pretty much told his whole story out there. Like, it's all out there. If you were to Google Ray, you ain't even got like Google Ray Fisher's grievances against DC. Like, all you got to do is Google Ray Fisher, and articles will pop up about how he basically went in on the mistreatment that he suffered underneath Joss Whedon. And not only did he go in on the mistreatment, he named names of like top executives at DC and WB that put him through that, a lot of that shit that he went through. And it was more than just, I think a lot of people was like, oh, well, he just didn't want to say booyah, which, by the way, I kind of wanted that line in the movie. Don't ask me. I just did.
We got the Sonic cannon. We get the Sonic cannon at least.
I was disappointed he ain't say it. Whatever. I'm a Teen Titans Go fan. Whatever. I wanted it, but
it's not even Teen Titans Go. He actually does occasionally say booyah in the comics.
But, well, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, but Ray Fisher's complaint was that he felt that it would be messed up for the only black character to have a catchphrase, and I'm like, okay, counter argument, just have everyone else get their catchphrases back too.
Basically, and you know what, and that's a good point. I mean, that's basically what you got to do. And it wasn't just him being the only character, having a catchphrase, but I think it was also when Josh, it was like the tone of when it was supposed to happen. Like he didn't like win and all that. Like it was just that, but it ended up being. Go ahead.
I was saying all the other complaints he had about his mistreatment. Yeah, I get all those. But his complaint about not wanting to say booyah because he thought it was right, because he thought it would be weird.
It would make black people look. Yeah, like he was like, I'm the first black person, because this was before Black Panther, mind you, because when the first Justice League came out, Black Panther, the movie wasn't out yet, right? So Ray Fisher would have been the first black comic book character in a major film, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. So he just felt like saying that would have diminished, I guess, the movement or something. Like it was. Yeah,
it's a weird take. Like I want to get where, like, because I agree with all his other complaints, I want to agree with this one too, but I can't because it doesn't make sense. It's like,
right. And
like the best thing to do would be like if your complaint is that you don't want Cyborg saying booyah because you don't want your black character to be whittled down to a catchphrase, despite the fact that Cyborg's known for saying booyah in both the comics and the cartoons. Yeah. Then I'd be like, okay, that's a fair point. Here, then why don't we just give everyone else back their catchphrases too? That way you're not the only one. We could have Batman say, I'm Batman. We could have Superman say either up, and away. Wait, oh my god! Superman did use one of his catchphrases in that movie. Well, it was a modified version of it, but he used it. When he was fighting Steppenwolf, he did say, I do like truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice, which is a play on his catchphrase for truth and justice.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
So he wouldn't even be the only one with a catchphrase because Superman used one of his.
Didn't Ezra say he'd be back in the Flash too? Isn't that one of the Flash's catchphrases?
That is one of the Flash's catchphrases, but I can't remember if he said that in the Whedon cut.
That's right, in the Whedon cut. So I mean, so that aside, I mean, he did talk about. But other than
that, for the record, I do agree with him that he should have punched Whedon in the face when Whedon decided to try to quote Shakespeare to get him to say booyah, because that's just a douchebaggy move. Yeah, that was like that.
And I mean, Fisher goes in on a lot of other things, right? Yeah, like he talks about a lot of the lines, of basically, the fact that Whedon took out like his whole like backstory. And when I say backstory, I'm not talking about when his dad created him. I'm talking about the scenes with his mother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The football scene, the scene with his mom, the car accident, the part where his dad comes to the hospital, Like all
Yeah.
that stuff gets taken out.
And
I don't. Oh.
oh no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't even remember because I've tried to block out Whedon's version of the Justice League, but I don't even remember if the part with Gal Gadot is in the first movie where she talks to him and tries to recruit him. I don't remember if that was in or if they changed it.
It's
not,
but
okay.
it is, but it's a completely different scene in both.
Okay.
In the original, it's in the Whedon cut, it's like they're talking and he's complaining about how he can do all this stuff that he couldn't do before. She's like, you've been given great power. But in the Snyder cut, it's much more in depth, and she actually connects with him on an emotional level,
right?
Which almost makes you forget that in the last scene, his dad was like, "Hey, you have all this power, but you should not use it to help people again," right. Which is the second time Snyder's done this.
Right. So I mean, so we talk about that. He talks about the language and the tone and all of that shit that Whedon was saying to everybody, and he talks about that he didn't just.
And he was like, no. And he made a point. He was like, it's not just Whedon. I don't want Whedon to be the scapegoat because
there were other people involved. Yeah. Right. It was like Whedon's managers too, because when he was making these, when he started complaining and screaming at the sky, I mean, he went past Whedon. He went to executives at DC, executives at the WB, and they all like.
He named names. He named Jeff Johns and someone else.
What was the other dude? It was Jeff Johns. I have it up in my
he pretty much
on
did
my
not
phone
hold back.
too.
He was like, "Oh, I'm coming for all y'all."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. And then he talks about the treatment of, he talks about how there was a part where he wanted Cyborg to be, I guess, like Cyborg. There's a moment in the movie where Cyborg is like, talking about himself and portraying himself, and he still has, a lot of that hatred for his dad and that resentment. But Whedon like came in and was like, "Oh, you shouldn't, stand like that. You shouldn't look like that. You need to change like your whole body language." And Fisher was like, "What are you talking about? Like, this is a serious scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you want me to do it any other way?" And then he went in on the fact that even Whedon went at Gal Gadot and went at her about her lines and how she was, how her scenes and how she was moving. And when Gal protested against that, he basically told her, "I can make you look stupid in this movie if you don't do what I tell you to do." Whedon said that to her. So he like threatened to ruin Gal's career, which Gal had her own movie. You know what I'm saying? I think the first Wonder Woman movie came out before. Didn't it come out before the Justice League movie?
After.
Oh, okay. It came out after, but she was still, it was already being made.
Wait, let me check.
There's nothing for you to do where you think you can ruin my career if I don't act the way you want me to act. You know what I'm saying? So all these things came out, and Ray Fisher was basically like, I complained, I did this. The WB ended up like launching an investigation, as he calls it, but nothing really ever happened until Ray started protesting about, hiring a private investigator. So, but the problem is that the WB ended up hiring that private investigator, and Ray.
You were right. They were filming at the same time, but you're right. Wonder Woman came out in June of 2017, and Justice League was in November of 2017.
Oh, so okay, so it did come out a little bit beforehand.
Yeah, okay. But they're being produced at the same time, so it's still
pretty close.
Yeah.
So it was all of that, and then Ray was like, "But the problem is the WB hired a private investigator that they have used before." He was like, "And if my problem is with higher upper execs at the WB, how can I trust, you know what I'm saying, that you hired somebody that you used before?" And then that investigator came and said that they couldn't find any, misconduct racially or anything else. So Ray continued to, to continue to protest and all this other kind of stuff. He said he had executives, he's like trying to get him to like hush down on his complaints. And he was like, nah, I mean, it just ended up being like this whole thing. And then even when Jason Momoa ended up getting involved is because he said the media kind of obviously because the WB is a whole machine, right? It's like, it's a whole machine. So he was like, when they tried to hush it and try to sweep stuff under the rug, they started releasing different things to the media about stories that weren't even true. And then there was a story that popped up that Jason Momoa was getting ready to voice a cartoon character in some movie or whatever that was being produced by, you know, Warner Brothers or whatnot. And, you know, as a way to kind of change the tone, you know, the narrative of the WB. And that's when Jason Momoa took to his Instagram and he was like, how dare y'all, you know, publish a false story just to take away from Ray Fisher and how because so then at that point he inserted himself and acknowledged, because he was like, of how we were treated by Joss Whedon and a lot of other people at Warner Brothers. He was like, I support Ray Fisher, his story needs to be told, you know, and that's it. And so so at this time, when Justice League came out, the first one, and it bombed, basically, a lot of those upper executives that Ray Fisher was mad at, it was quitting. Somebody got fired, some, you know, other people quit. They got in new management, all this other kind of stuff. And new management hit up Ray Fisher like, we heard you, we hear you, we're gonna investigate it again. You know, Whedon's an asshole, you know, he's a bastard. I think, who was it? Was it John? Who? Now I'm sitting up here trying to find that other person, because they tried to say, they were talking about John Berg is the other name. So it was Jeffrey Johns, John Berg, and Joss Whedon. And the new head of DC was like, you know, yeah, Josh is an asshole. He's not here anymore. We've cut our ties to Whedon, whatever. We don't know John Berg or whatever. But Jeff is a good guy, and you need to like make a statement that paints him in a better light. And Ray Fisher was like, no, because that dude was one of the ones who was covering up for Whedon. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, he's implicit too. So it just ended up imploding into this whole thing. And we have all seen, you know, what Whedon's version of the movie looked like, where a lot of people of color were taken out. And when I say a lot, I guess I mean the main, because, you know, I'm not talking about people in the background, you know what I'm saying, drinking at a coffee shop or whatever, but like some of the main characters because I believe we saw Iris, you know, the scene that have, you know, Cyborg's pretty much whole entire, not only his backstory, but a lot of his importance to the plot too was diminished in Whedon's version. He had way more story in Snyder's, you know, his father's sacrifice was seen in Snyder's, you know what I'm saying? The love of his mother, like all of that stuff. Obviously, Gal's portrayal, completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Really
even the outfits of the Amazons between Whedon and Snyder's are massively different. They look like, I hated their outfits in the first Justice League.
You know,
I was just like, what am I looking at? You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to make one complaint about both versions, and this has always bugged me about both versions. In both versions, they keep Cyborg being mad at his dad for turning into a cyborg, but they ignore that in both the comic books and in both versions of the comics, the original 80s origin and the New 52 origin, and in the Teen Titans TV show, the accident is his father's fault, which is part of the reason why Victor Stone is so mad at him. In the original 80s version, it's because his dad decided to mess around with interdimensional technology, opened a portal to another realm. Vic's mom was killed by the creature on the other realm. Vic was injured by the creature, and that's why he became a cyborg, because his dad was like, hey, my wife just died, my son died, and that's also why Vic was so mad at him. In the New 52 version, Vic was arguing with his dad. They were messing around with the mother box, and the mother box exploded, and his dad rebuilt him as a cyborg. So in both versions, in the same thing in the cartoon, Vic was in a car accident, but it was specifically a car accident his father caused because his father called to yell at him about something while he was driving. So again, in all those versions, they tie in Vic's resentment of his father. It's not just that his father made him a cyborg, it's that his father is directly
for the accident, right?
Exactly, directly responsible for him becoming one.
Right. So
and I felt in both the Whedon and the Snyder cut, making it just a normal car accident that could happen to anybody diminishes that resentment, because
it made it be about the fact that Cyborg was still upset, you know, that, I mean, obviously we could tell from the movie that his relationship was tumultuous with his dad anyway. His dad was always working, you know what I'm saying? His dad missed a lot of things in Cyborg's life. So we understand that resentment, but afterwards it was like super amplified because I think he also says in Snyder's movie, like, you know what I'm saying, if you were there, we wouldn't have been in the accident. But it's like, how do you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, she
yeah,
was driving and y'all were driving home. If he was in the car with you, he honestly could have died too. You know what I'm saying? We
yeah,
don't
it doesn't
know,
work
but
as well, is what I'm saying.
yeah, but he blames him
He
for
blames him
the
for the
for the accident.
He
Yeah.
blames him for the accident in the Snyder cut, which is a lot less nonsensical because his dad was literally nowhere near the accident. He wasn't the person calling him to distract him on the phone while he was driving. He had nothing to do with it. It's just like,
So it's at this point
it
where
feels
Fisher
very
talked
misplaced.
right.
But
So
yeah,
it's at this point where Fisher talked about in the last part of his article was that Cyborg, his character was supposed to appear in the Flash's movie, which I don't know if it's still going on, but he was supposed to make an appearance. But after everything, like, his character is like out. You know what I'm saying? I highly doubt that we will see Ray Fisher as Cyborg in another WB movie anytime soon, if at all. You know what I'm saying? Because DC has said that they've moved on. Ray Fisher was like, I just wanted to get it out there. Now everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving on with my career too. So I mean, who knows? But it's just, how do y'all feel about one? So one, I have to apologize to Ray Fisher because I did, say some shit on some past podcasts. So I do have to retract that. But it's like, how do y'all feel as far as knowing now what we know about everything that went on? And obviously we all know a lot of the issues that Black actors and actresses go through in Hollywood anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's like, how do y'all feel about what he said? Or do y'all not have any feelings about it at all?
Oh, well, personally, like I said, I agree with every single complaint he
Yeah.
had besides the catchphrase thing, which I just cannot bring myself to see his side of the catchphrase thing because it's just such a small petty thing. But I feel like it was less a small petty thing in his mind and more like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
So that's the only way I can picture him even bring that up with all the other major complaints. Okay. But other than that, yeah, Whedon is trash. We knew Whedon was a scumbag, but we didn't know the extent of it until now.
Yeah.
And now we know he is like pure trash. And he doesn't. And Ray Fisher was completely right.
Yeah.
About everything. I still just find the Snyder Cut average, but this is not about the Snyder Cut. This is about Ray Fisher's treatment.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, I still find Snyder a pretentious prick, but he does treat his actors better.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Cassio, what are your thoughts?
I'm not, man. I agree. I agree with Toku Terry. Yeah, I agree with Toku says, honestly.
As somebody like yourself who kind of works on films, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know you've had, like, you and I have talked, privately about like some of the things that you've gone through being, a Black person in the film industry, even just starting out, you know what I'm saying? Not like a super major, okay, we just lost light skin, but not like a super major, you know what I'm saying, player in the game right now. Fingers crossed. But how do you, from that perspective, how do you feel?
The director's job is to tell the actors how to act.
Right.
Like, that's actually what he's like, like, that's what he's supposed to do. No, I wasn't there on set, so I can't speak to how, how these directions were like delivered. I don't know how he spoke to him. I don't know what stance he was talking about. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, if Jason is supporting him, if Gal Gadot, has things to say about him as well, then, you know what I'm saying, I support Ray Fisher. I support him. It's like, I can't like, give the like lay down the hammer and be like, this person was definitely wrong, this person was definitely right. But if it's a general consensus that like Joss Whedon mistreats the actors, then I'm gonna go with Joss Whedon mistreats the actors. That's the director's job, is to like give you suggestions on how to stand. Try it this way. Let's see how it looks like this. So I think if his request wasn't outrageous, or if it wasn't, disrespectful or anything, I don't see anything wrong with trying the scene a certain way. If it doesn't work, then okay, boom, we go back to the other stance, or we don't put in booyah. You know what I mean? We can record it. If it doesn't work, we take it out. Just refusing to record it completely. I don't know. It would definitely be like difficult on set if like somebody is refusing to, you know what I'm saying? Do
Yeah.
something the director is asking them to do.
So really fast, because we need to talk about new guys, but just going to that when you were talking about like how to move and how to stand, I'm gonna read the part that he was talking about so you know what I'm
Oh
talking
wow.
about. Because Lord knows I probably paraphrased it wrong. So let me get it right.
Okay.
So he said Johns, which is Jeffrey Johns, told Ray Fisher that he should play the character Cyborg less like Frankenstein and more like the kind-hearted Quasimodo from Notre Dame. Fisher says that in order to demonstrate the look he wanted, he meaning Whedon, Johns. He said Johns dipped his shoulder in what struck Fisher as a servile posture, because we all know like Quasimodo was kind of humped over, one arm up and whatever.
Yeah.
And he said to Fisher thought that there was a big difference between portraying a character who was born with a disability versus one who had been transformed by trauma. And he felt Cyborg was kind of a modern day Frankenstein. And he said, I didn't have any intention of playing him as a jovial cathedral cleaning individual.
Okay,
That's
well,
what it
okay,
was.
well, here's my take on that. Both of y'all need to pick up a Cyborg comic. Both of y'all, because Cyborg's not Frankenstein. Cyborg is not Frankenstein's monster. He's not this angry, vindictive creature who hates humanity because humanity hates it back. But neither is he this. Okay, for one, Jeffrey Johns is talking about the Disney Frankenstein because obviously neither one of them have read the book.
Yeah, we're not talking. Yeah, I'm sure he was talking about the Disney version. Yeah.
But he's also not this jovial, goofy thing. He's this Cyborg at his core is a high school student turned into a cyborg who is constantly trying to fight between his happier, jokey self, which hence the booyah, hence the jokes, hence his friendship with Beast Boy, and his depression, not anger, depression at what he's become. He's constantly at war between the man and the machine.
Right.
So, no offense to both of y'all, but both of y'all need to pick up some Cyborg comics like right now.
Yeah, it just like
both of those interpretations are wrong. This is the wrongest.
He said a Johns representative responded to that statement saying that Jeff gave a note using a fictional character as an example of a sympathetic man who is unhappy and has an inclination to hide from the world, but one whom the audience roots for because he has a courageous heart, and that's why he mentioned Quasimodo. But Fisher
okay. Well, that's
wait. Let me finish.
My fault.
He said Fisher told Johns it might be one thing for a non-Black person to write a character for a comic, but it's another for that Black actor to portray that character on screen. And he was like, it was like he was assuming how Black people would respond to like his portrayal versus rather than taking the advice from the only Black person, as far as he knew, with any kind of creative impact on the project. So he said, and that was the last conversation that him and Jeffrey Johns had about his character, because Jeffrey was not backing down from wanting him to be more Quasimodo-like, and Fisher was like, "Nah, I'm not going to portray him like that."
And so I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. Like the way that's phrased, obviously, what Jeffrey Johns representative said, that's a lie. Like, I don't have to be there for that conversation of that is madcap, because there are a billion characters you could have referenced, but you specifically chose Quasimodo, so that's madcap.
And why would you want him to be Quasimodo-like?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't. I mean, even if you haven't read a comic, right? Like, even if you haven't read a comic, to know what happens to him, like if you read the script and you know what happens to to him to make him cyborg. Why would you a jovial kid like what? Huh?
Like
What are
there,
you
Yeah, it doesn't make
talking
sense.
about?
like you
It doesn't make
could,
sense. You're right.
like you could,
Right.
yeah. There are ways to portray him still doing jokes and having fun, but the best way to do that would be to use it, since this is so early after his transformation. The best way to do it would be to portray it as him desperately trying, using humor as a defense mechanism to retain his humanity. That would have been the best way to go for it. But going for him as pure Frankenstein, F the world like the Snyder Cut did, also doesn't do the character, also does the character disservice, because you're making him solely his trauma instead of having his trauma as one part of him.
Yeah.
Does that,
So
does that make sense?
yeah, it does.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to read that. So
So,
take back what I said earlier.
yeah,
I wanted to read that so you guys understood
yeah.
what
So
I was talking
yeah,
about his portrayal, and how he was standing. I meant the Quasimodo stance that Jeffrey
Yeah.
John
yeah,
tried to
Yo,
do.
yeah.
yeah.
I didn't
Also,
look at him
feel
that
you.
like,
I probably
stance,
would
yeah, that
I didn't
stance.
look at him like that. Like
Yeah, you would punch. I would have punched him.
what?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I would have punched him. I just would have. I'm like, touch me again, see what's gonna happen. It's gonna be real interesting for one of us.
So yeah, so Cassio, I wanted to make sure that I read that too,
Yeah, I
because you
got
made
you.
up a good point about directors, how they stand, how they move, but that was what he was talking about on
I
that.
get it.
So
So I totally
Uh,
understand why he refused to stand like that, because it's ridiculous.
yeah,
Absolutely. And it seems like it would be too close to like Neanderthal, you know what I'm saying, or a
yeah,
monkey.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That
Mhm.
Or
is.
something.
Oof.
So I got you.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally
So
understand. I think they tried to get across the whole he has a good heart thing with him giving the woman that extra
mhm,
money and
mhm,
stuff. I mean, I think they tried to,
I love that actually. I
you
love
know
when
what I
they do
mean?
that.
yeah.
They actually tried to like show like this guy has a great heart, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but the
And he's
And
problem
not
is
changing.
just that,
that's it.
the part where his
It's
mother
just
was talking to the principal, and we learned that he changed the
Right,
grades of a
right.
friend because she was, had went through some shit, and her, so they also tried to put the good heart part in,
Yeah.
before he even became cyborg. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah,
tried to
yeah.
establish that was the kind of
They
man Victor
tried. It just
was.
doesn't work as well with Snyder's overly dark writing style.
Well, I
Again,
just meant like they, tried to give it to the
they
character. You
tried.
know
They
what I'm saying?
tried.
Or
They tried.
whatever.
We will give
So
them all the credit in the world for trying.
yeah. So, Jensen, how do you feel about Ray Fisher's things, like his accusations, his words?
He
Or
shouldn't
do you
have.
not have any
He,
thoughts about it at all?
he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have went through it in the first place. They should have been like, all right, he's making these multiple claims, and he just getting through to the side. But if it would have been a white guy or somebody, a white woman, oh, it would have been handled right then and there, ASAP, or handled better. But
Yeah.
the only black guy really on the set is one of the main cast. But then nobody believing him. But then Jason Momoa comes along and says, "Hey, he's right. Oh, yeah, we're gonna look into it more." Nah, man, you should have been trying to share that same energy when nobody else was sticking up for him but himself.
Word.
Because they don't want to lose that Jason Momoa star power. They don't want to
Hmm.
lose that because Aquaman was big, so they don't
Are
And
want to
you?
lose
and
that.
then and also I think it's because of his. I'm not trying to be funny. His status. If you'd been like
No,
an
you're
even
right.
bigger star,
Yeah, he
a bit,
is.
not even just a star. If you'd have been a bigger black actor, I'm not saying like Denzel or nothing, because Denzel said one word, it'd been over with. But
Yeah,
if he had a bigger status,
yeah. I agree.
you
I
I
know,
completely
agree.
agree.
I agree.
he it would
I
it would have
agree.
been it would have been yeah, it would have been over with. And I think
Okay.
he was getting treated like that because who his status was.
I agree.
If it would have been somebody bigger, we would have been out the door. They had a different director the next day or some shit like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I do. So, obviously we all agree that how Ray Fisher was treated by Josh Wood Whedon was some bullshit. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Josh is definitely Trizash. okay, or whatever. So, and I have to admit, I hope that, hopefully now that this is all out, because obviously Warner Brothers is not going to, really do anything else. And again, some of the people who were giving him these problems, they're like no longer at, DC, like they quit, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody else was fired and whatever. But clearly he's not really going to get no justice from them. So I just hope that it has freed him a little bit now that his story is out there in total. And I really wish him well on future projects. You know what I'm saying? Because he honestly wasn't a bad actor. You know what I'm saying? So I just wish him the best in his future endeavors, and hopefully we'll see him in something else. So, and when I say something else, because I think he actually had worked on something, but I mean like something else big, like super big, I guess is what I'm thinking. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we see him in something in the future. So, keeping on the subject of the Snyderverse, new gods. Oh, there you go. Toku Terry cracking his knuckles in his neck. So if you have not heard the news, DC, WB has canceled the New Gods movie, which was being directed by Ava DuVernay. For those of you who know, who the New Gods are, we were, I only know them from the cartoons because I'm the non-comic reader on the panel. So, but I have seen the New Gods in episodes of, I think Justice League Unlimited. They're definitely in Young Justice. Like they definitely show up in Young Justice in a couple of seasons. So it's very sad because they've never, outside of comics and maybe the cartoons, you haven't seen them like anywhere. And it would have been a really great, fresh, new, you know what I'm saying, like story to come to the big screen. So a lot of us were looking forward to it, but it did get canceled. And the question is that Toku Terry is going to answer. The question is the Snyderverse responsible? So,
Yes.
Toku Terry, tell us why you think they're responsible.
Okay, well, obviously, a lot of people are going to be like, well, the Snyderverse isn't responsible, it's WB. But here's the thing, anyone who has even a cursory knowledge of comic book adaptations would have seen this coming from the moment the Snyderverse mentioned that it was going to use Darkseid, because DC and Marvel have a history of canceling and refusing to use characters that have recently been adapted. For those of you who grew up in the early 2000s, you may remember the infamous Bat embargo. For those of you who don't remember, the Bat embargo was starting in 2004. While the Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises trilogy was going on, DC was not allowed to use any of the Bat characters besides Batman in their cartoons or TV shows because of the movies, because Warner Brothers feared devaluing the characters' appearances and screen time and confusing audiences. Marvel fans will remember in the 90s, the Spider-Man characters were not allowed to be used in the Avengers show from the 90s, nor were any Hulk characters or Fantastic Four characters allowed to be used in that show because they had their own cartoons and they didn't want cross-pollination. For those of you who grew up in the late 2000s, early 2010s, you'll also remember the Spectacular Spider-Man was canceled so that the Spider-Man cartoon starring Josh from Drake and Josh could start, because again, they didn't want two Spider-Men running around. Every single time Marvel or DC starts up a new project using these characters, they will cancel or diminish older projects or ongoing projects to prevent these characters from being in multiple things at once. This is also why in Supergirl we didn't see Superman for the first 2 seasons, because we had the Henry Cavill Superman in movies at that time, and they didn't want to devalue Superman's appearances or confuse audiences. Every single time. So if you're surprised that Warner Brothers canceled the New Gods movie because Darkseid showed up in Zack Snyder's Justice League, you just have not been paying attention to history. This has been going on since the 90s, probably the 80s, but I wasn't around during the 80s.
But couldn't the movie be used though to explain Darkseid a little bit more, right?
Well,
That's how I
You know what I'm
feel.
saying?
I feel.
well, yeah, that
I feel
wouldn't
like the
work though
New Gods
because
movie would explore more of
from
him.
what we're told of Ava, what's her last name? I can't pronounce
Ava
it.
DuVernay.
Ava
Mhm.
DuVernay.
DuVernay. Thank you. I can never pronounce her last name.
Mm-hmm.
From what we're told of Ava DuVernay's take on the New Gods, she was going to be very faithful to the comics. So we'd actually see like the mysteries of Apocalypse and how dark and mysterious it is, and how it's closer to the comics, where instead of Darkseid just randomly attacking planets looking for the anti-life equation, he's sitting down, he's planning, he's scanning the universe for it. He's not just showing up like, hey, does this planet have the anti-life equation? Okay, attack it. Let's see if it does. Oh, okay, it doesn't. Well, I own it now. Bye.
I still feel like the movie could have like reflected that though. Like I still feel like it could have done. I don't know. I guess I
I'm
still feel
saying
like they could have.
her take on the New Gods, from what we were told about it, was going to be very comics faithful, and that's great. But here's the issue: if you want it to be comics faithful, it can't be in the same universe as Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I know the movies supposedly aren't taking place in the same universe as Zack Snyder's Justice League anyway, but audiences are still going to make that connection. They're still going to think it is, even if you tell them it's not. I mean, Cassio, Jensen, we comic book debaters know this because apparently everyone just thinks everything's taking place in the same universe, even when they have explicit universe numbers. But casual audiences never seem to pay attention to that.
Like
ever.
me.
No. You're fine.
Casual.
You're fine. You at least make the attempt to ask the question of, okay, what universe is this in? A lot of people don't even bother doing that. They just go, well, Superman. Like, no, there's different Supermen in different universes. Different universe, different rules, people. But again, so if comic book audiences don't understand that, Warner Brothers believes that movie audiences will understand that a lot less. And that's why they often do this. So yes, it is completely the fault of Zack Snyder's Justice League for putting Darkseid in the movie, and that is not getting the fact that he decides to make Darkseid a punk who loses his first on-screen fight.
Well, according to y'all, he was young when he first popped up. Y'all had to remind me he was thousands of years later.
No. Zack Snyder said that he's Uxus. That he was Uxus instead of Darkseid when he lost that fight. But I'm like, okay, dude, you can say that now in these after movie interviews, but in your own movie, y'all called him Darkseid the entire time. Like, if you want to be Uxus, call him Uxus.
I just think that's interesting. I guess there's a part of me that just still feels like the movie could explain that, and we get to see how Darkseid becomes that dude who shows up and don't even know what planet he on, you know what I'm saying, trying to wreck shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like the New Gods that movie could explain not just him, but like the new guys, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. I still feel like it could be done, but I do see your point. So I don't want you to think I don't see your point. I do see your point. I guess I just still feel like it could be done. I don't know. Maybe I just really wanted to.
Again, it could have been again, I agree, it could have been
done. So is that why I guess in a way it's more able to be done because Whedon didn't show Darkseid?
Yeah, it was more likely to be done because with the Whedon cut, all we know about Darkseid is his name and that
little snippet that showed him a little. Didn't it show like?
No, it just showed the Omega symbol on the Nightmareverse world. But yeah, all we know about him is his name and that Steppenwolf worked for him, which that's fine. You're perfectly able to spin that off into a completely new take and have your take consistent with the movie universe. But and again, remember the original cut of Justice League was from 2017. The Snyder cut just came out this year.
Right.
The New Gods movie, if it hadn't been canceled, would have started filming this year and would come out next year.
Yeah, that's right.
So Warner Brothers felt that it would be too soon. It would dilute Darkseid's brand. And again, I have to bring this back to the Snyderverse because the Snyderverse used Darkseid so much more and showed him so much more, Warner Brothers feels it dilutes his character brand and it makes it less, his appearance is less special. If only, ironically, the problem is they show him so much in the comics that started doing that, which is why we have so many problems and debates about him. So they figured out the problem in movies and stuff, like, hey, if we use this character too much, it dilutes how special the character is. But they haven't figured that out in comics yet.
Okay. I have a different perspective, but okay, all right. So, Cassio, how do do you agree? Do you agree?
Which part exactly? I'm sorry.
Do you agree that the Snyderverse might be the reason that New Guys was canceled?
They literally
not the reason, but may have played like a small.
Well, they literally said
yeah.
pause. Warner Brothers literally said that the reason why they were canceling New Gods was because of his appearance in the Snyderverse. I'm just explaining the logic behind it.
Oh, I have to look that up. I didn't read that. Okay, so go. So I guess go ahead, Cassio.
Well, I don't really have a comment on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's boom. It is, if it's, you know what I'm saying? If they say that's what it is, then that's what it is. You know?
Okay.
I mean, I get it because I mean, there's a such thing as like oversaturation or like seeing something too much that it loses its, it's I want to say impact or power or, you know what I mean? There is a such thing. There is a such thing. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Jensen?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with Terrence. They said that's specifically why the New Guys are not going to be doing it.
Yeah, I just read that. I just read that they.
I don't get it. I mean, that was your chance to go more into Darkseid because him just showing up with Snyder Cut just, or should I say, use Axis when Darkseid. But even him just showing up and seeing more of them, people were just hyped about it. But as far as anything else I gotta say, I have nothing.
So I did read, I pulled up a article and you're right. They did say because Darkseid was shown like a lot in the movie that's the reason, and they didn't want too much of him to be out there. But I guess for me, it's like we've been waiting for Darkseid for like forever. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess that's why I look at it like. And it's not like Darkseid took over the whole damn movie. You know what I'm saying? He was literally seen like 3 times. Once when he first touched down, again in the Flash when they're reanimating Superman and Cyborg has that vision, and then at the end when with the portal or whatever that they were shoving, sliding Steppenwolf through or whatever. So it's not like he oversaturated the movie, and the fact that we've been waiting to see this man, you know what I'm saying, in a live action film for so long, I don't understand. I still don't understand why it had to be. Like, if you don't want it to be oversaturated, then just postpone it. You know what I'm saying? Like, push it back another year and a half. Hell, they waited, almost 2 years before Wonder Woman 1984 came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, push it back, but canceling it, I think that's whack.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
canceling it is whack.
and I can hear that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Cassio. What was you about to say?
Sorry. So, I kind of agree. Canceling it is whack. You know what I mean? Like, especially you had such a great director on it. Ava DuVernay's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
Yeah, she is. I don't care what the critics say. A Wrinkle in Time was great.
Yep.
Yeah, she's great. So I mean, it's definitely like a missed opportunity. I mean, I agree. They could have either pushed it back, or I said don't push it back. You know what I mean? Like, we understand. Like, this is Snyder's version. Let's get to this thing and let's just watch it. I mean, I would be completely fine with, disavowing all, knowledge of the Snyder Cut in reference to the New Gods, just so I know this isn't in the same universe. I can easily do that.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was their decision. I can't really say, something one way or another, or like judge the production company based off their decision. But I would have liked to have seen it. I'm gonna say that.
I would have liked to have seen it. I wanted to see what her take on Mr. Miracle and Orion would have been like. I have $50. I have $50 betting that Orion was gonna be a black guy.
Oh.
So I mean, I don't know. And I guess if you look at it like that, I mean, again, because we all know, you know what I'm saying, that they, you know, also one reason why the first Justice League got pushed out is because, you know, DC was trying to keep up with Marvel. So I mean, if we're going to compare it to Marvel was crossing characters and showing flashes of Thanos, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
they played it perfectly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So when you looking at it like that, I personally don't think it had to be canceled. Why? Because we saw Darkseid 3 times during a 4-hour cut. Like what? Like, but you know, this is probably why I'm not in charge of big decisions, because I would be like, yes, we about to run that. You need like another 6 months, okay? Because the Darkseid train right now that we've seen him. And again, because we don't know if like more Justice League movies are gonna be made. I think right now we all know that there's not, but somebody could change their mind. We don't know, but for now they're not. So you have Darkseid like out there. You know what I'm saying? If the new guys can tell a little bit more about him, how he's a hot subject on the big screen, I don't understand why you would want to stop that train. Like I don't get it. I don't.
Because right now he's just out there, like you said, just out there.
Right. So I would think you would want to ride the high and the anticipation of Darkseid versus being like, nah, we don't want to use him too much. What?
And you know, Tiffany, I really hope, you know, if they would have did New Gods. I'm not trying to be funny at all, but I know how it is. A lot of people use the word female, and they had the female Furies. You get what I'm getting at? It's like,
Yep.
I you know, I really hope, because you know we saw Granny Goodness.
Yep.
Remember we saw her.
Yep.
And then I'm thinking like, instantly like, I really hope, and you know how it is in our day and age, that they don't change the name Female Furies. I can understand Furies. Okay, I can understand that. Yeah. That they just do Furies. But if they just completely change the name so they just want to be on the safe side, I would be like really upset.
You know somebody there is going to try to be politically correct, but what are you going to call them? You can't call them the Lady Furies. That's stupid.
Also,
you know what I'm saying? You can't call them the Women Furies, because as we know, all Furies are women anyway. There are no male Furies.
Hot take. Apocalypse is literally a hell realm. Do you really think a hell realm is politically correct?
No, but like executives are. Executives that make movies are. So that's what we're talking about. Like
I know, I'm just saying, like, that would be my counter argument if I was like in that meeting.
That's a good counter argument. But
to make them, to just name them the Furies, honestly, I think would be fine. You know what I'm saying? But it's like to try to come up with a more, you know what I'm saying, or they throw in like a male Fury, you're gonna be sitting there like,
or even
what?
Or even if they went to introduce the most popular one, Big Barda, why she got to be called Big?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, she's called Big Barda because she's 7'2".
Yeah,
but again, you had people thinking that Gal Gadot was supposed to be big, and you had people thinking that when they talked about the Amazons, they meant like the Amazon rainforest. But like a lot of people don't know that we're talking Themyscira. Like I've witnessed these people in Ethiopia, and I'm just sitting here like, because they be like, you know, well, she's supposed to be darker, and I'm like, why?
Amazons came in different shades.
We're talking, and we're talking.
These are the Greek Amazons, for the record.
Greece. Yeah, we're talking ancient Greece and fake, fake mythology. So what are you talking about? Right. What do you mean the Amazon is hot? People with melanin, and I'm like, we're not talking about the Amazon rainforest, right? We're not talking about the real Amazon jungle, right? So there are idiots out there.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is a shame. I think the New Guys movie could have opened up, a whole nother possible thing for DC, and I just think
probably would have gotten more. And it probably would have gotten more respect for one of Jack Kirby's greatest creations, since the comics have no idea how to use them anymore.
And, I do think that once again, they're shooting themselves in the foot. You know what I'm saying? So comic movies, I believe the next one coming out is Black Adam. And then at some point, I also heard that they may have pumped the brakes. I don't know if this is for sure, but I thought I read somewhere that they may have pumped the brakes on Aquaman 2, which would be stupid. So I don't know.
Aquaman 2 is still happening.
Okay.
They canceled The Deep, which was an Aquaman spinoff.
Oh, that's right. That explains...
Not The Deep, the Trench. The Trench.
Yeah, The Trench. That's right. And I was like, that would have been an awesome story to tell or whatever.
Which was like a horror movie, because The Trench
The
Monsters
trench
are all
creatures.
scary and proud.
That scene made me jump, dude. That
Wait,
scene made me.
Yeah.
I think Suicide Squad before Black Adam.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
right. Suicide Squad
that
too.
is
You
right.
right.
That
Yep,
is
you
Yes,
right.
right.
which I'm actually kind of surprised Suicide Squad is from the trailers. I'm surprised how accurate they got Peacemaker to his comic book self. I did not think that was going to
But
work in live action.
isn't it a new director on
Yeah,
that
it
one
is a
too?
new director.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
So-
it's the guy.
No-
It's the guy who did the Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn, the guy who did the Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy
Yeah,
movies.
and there's
Oh,
no Will
okay.
Smith.
And it worked. See, that's why I like James Gunn. James Gunn is a good comic book movie director because he likes the comics, so he puts little references to the comics in all of his comic book movies. So
I personally didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm just gonna hope
Yeah,
Suicide
that was
because I didn't like it.
But
I didn't like
I
it.
still
I only
like it.
saw one. I did not see the other because I didn't want to after I saw the first one. So I don't really,
The
I can't
second-
really speak on that because I thought the first one was kind of
yeah,
terrible.
the second's much improved, but it's
Okay.
glorious.
Okay, well, I have to admit I did not see the trailer yet. I know the trailer for Suicide Squad dropped, so I have to watch it. And yeah, it doesn't have Will Smith. I'm not gonna lie, like I do love Will Smith as an actor, but I did not like his Deadshot portrayal. I didn't like it. I don't know why I didn't like it. I felt like it was Will Smith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I
exactly,
didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was Will Smith. It wasn't.
You didn't
Deadshot.
feel like it was Floyd Lawton. You felt like it was Will Smith playing Floyd Lawton.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I was
just-
watching it hoping that I would see him in more of kind of more like a villain kind of persona, and it was Will Smith with a gun. Like
they play. Yeah, the problem is they played up Deadshot's sympathetic traits while playing down the fact that
and I'm just like,
the fact that by Floyd Lawton's own words, he is physically incapable of caring about anybody besides himself and his daughter.
yeah.
Yeah, they
whole
played that
teamwork
way
and
down.
let's do this and the one-liners. I'm just like, okay. So with that, we're gonna turn the switch over a little bit to the Marvel realm, and this is something that Jensen, light-skinned God, wanted to talk about. Jensen, you still in your feeling? What? What do you talk about?
I'm out of them. Huh?
Okay, you out of them? Okay, that's good. Okay, so Jensen's out of his feelings now. So with this one, he wanted to talk about if Marvel really needed to do the Tournament of the Phoenix. Again, I am not a comic book reader, so this is geared towards all you comic book readers. So Jensen, go ahead and take it away.
In the latest Avengers run, which, as we know, Black Panther is the chairman of the Avengers now, like voted on by Thor, Iron Man, and Cap. They was like, yeah, we need a chairperson. And then looking back, this ain't the first time this happened. I think Black Panther was a chairperson for the Avengers like in the 70s as well, but it just wasn't as major as it is now. I could be wrong, but I believe so. So now the Phoenix comes to Earth, and as some of you know, the Phoenix has recently said that she's the mother of Thor, the biological mother of Thor. Now, we don't know if it's true or not, but that was a major thing because Jason Aaron, a lot of people gripe he has changed the whole mythos of a lot of stuff. Thor's Sojourner is supposedly now made from the first moon ever. You know how it was supposedly made of Uri metal from Asgard? Now he's saying it was, now he changed to where it was made from the first moon rock ever in the universe. So, you know, people have been kind of upset about that. And so now this tournament starts. Phoenix has arrived on Earth again. You know, it used to be Phoenix was just primordial entity, and we always associated with Jean Grey.
Right.
Always associated with Jean Grey. Now, and then, you know, then the Phoenix 5 came, which is cool. But then now it's like she's looking for a new host, and she picked these random characters. Pick Howard the Duck, Moon Girl, Black Panther, Captain America, Doctor Doom, Shang-Chi, Wolverine, Nighthawk, just Echo, just different characters were chosen. Luke Cage, She-Hulk, Red Widow, who's a new character who's from the same program as Black Widow. but nobody has seen her face yet. So she, all these different characters, Hyperion, all these different characters were chosen for this tournament. Each character was picked, and they got some of the Phoenix. So everybody's a Phoenix entity now. And of course, on the outside, they're in this realm where they can't escape. And on the outside, the Phoenix is getting ready to attack Avengers Tower, and all these different people are trying to help out stopping it. Tony Stark, Ghost Rider, Wakanda. And so when you get beat, you go back to the real world. Like nothing happened. Then, they start with Dr. Doom fighting Captain America, but Doom's like, I don't want to do this no more. She's not going to use me. And then over time, other characters is like, I want it. Like Namor wants the power of the Phoenix. He's experienced it before, and he wants it back because he's tired of everybody dumping their trash in the water. He's so irritated with this, and he's there. And he goes pretty far in the tournament. The Panther, we see they actually have a weapon they built just to fight the Phoenix. Wakanda has a weapon built to fight the Phoenix, but nobody never knew about it till now.
But of course
they do.
But of course,
it's like you're not even surprised no more.
You're just kind of resigned to it at this point. Like,
yeah,
of course they do.
Now and then some Chris can't handle it. Like Hyperion, because of his super senses, it overloads his senses so bad he taps out. Because he's feeling all these different things in the universe, feeling the feelings of these different worlds, these people crying, these people shouting. It overloads him. And Shang-Chi is there meditating like it's nothing. And then we get the long-awaited Nighthawk finally faces the Panther. And when I say the jabs, not the verbal jabs were the best. Two black men roasting each other, fighting with the Phoenix Force. A regular week. Captain America, he's making it far. He actually defeats Shang-Chi, but it's because the Phoenix just automatically gave the win to Captain America. Shang-Chi was like, I'm gonna do whatever, even if it means I'm gonna have to kill you. And then Shang-Chi gets teleported away. All the other fights are cool, but the ones with Panther were the best because it's the Panther. We see him in the rematch with Wolverine. That's when we find out Black Panther has a vibranium grill in his mouth.
Because of course he does.
He has like Wolverine had both claws on his face. He's like, what's gonna happen if I do the one in the middle? And then Panther smiles and like, well, I was prepared for that. And he has and Wolverine, they blurted out, but Wolverine's like, fuck me. And then Panther gets the blow. And then
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm on Wolverine's side on that one. Like,
I'm
just
like,
no.
Like, that's wild. But my thing is, the Finches be this entity like, that has this thing for the Summers and Gray bloodline. Now it's just a tournament. And by the way, Echo is the new Phoenix entity now. Echo. The girl that can't hear, but she could body read. She was actually the second. Some people might know. She was the second Ronin after Hawkeye.
Yeah, or as I refer to her as, Marvel's Death Cassandra Cain.
Pretty much, yes. And so she is the new entity, and then we get Jean Grey seeing it and mentally telling Echo like, don't do this, you don't have to do this by yourself. A lot of us have been there. We've experienced this. We can help you. And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't needed. This whole tournament arc wasn't. As I say, the anime version of the Tournament of Power, but it's the Phoenix from Dragon Ball. It wasn't needed because honestly, the Phoenix has been watered down over the years to me. Honestly, I'll be real honest with you. It has been watered down and like a bunch of us got introduced to it through the a bunch of us like me got introduced to it through the '90s cartoon.
Yeah, to the cartoon, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Phoenix Saga.
I wasn't reading comics like that in the early '90s. That's how I knew the Phoenix. Now the hardcore, the readers that was been doing it, they seen there, been there, done that. Seen it with when alternate reality where Vulcan was the Phoenix host, Magneto I think was a Phoenix host at one point. Which one was Rachel or Hope Summers was a Phoenix host at one point in a different reality?
Both of them.
Both of them.
Right?
See, okay, yes.
Look, we could spend an entire episode just trying to explain the Summers Gray bloodline.
I'd rather not because my head hurts. And so, and then also like now we see the Phoenix. Like I said, the Phoenix 5 was cool. I like that.
That was pretty neat.
Thing. But then afterwards, it just got diluted. Everybody was getting a turn now. It was everybody was getting a turn on the Phoenix Ferris wheel riding it now.
Oh crap! Did we just
not in a sexual way, of course?
Oh crap! Did we just prove DC's point?
I think we did.
We were talking about it, and we were talking about how sick of the Phoenix we were, and I was like, oh my god, DC might have had a point.
Yes, it's proving a point. And then you got the alternate future where Wolverine was a Phoenix, was a host of the Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that was the future. That was the
Thor.
That was, the alternate future where Thor's the last god, right?
Mm-hmm. And then Dr. Doom had a part of the Phoenix when he had the Iron Fist, the Social Supreme, the Phoenix. Oh wait, did he have the Phoenix? When he had all those powers at the end of time?
Yeah, he had a.
Was the Phoenix part of it too?
I think Black Panther. No. I think you're right. I think he had the Phoenix because I remember he was fighting somebody who had an Infinity Gauntlet and he burned it out of them. Thane had. Oh yeah, and Thane, the son of Dark.
Thanos
the son of Thanos.
Phoenix host at one point in time too. Thanos beat it out of him though. Thanos beat it out.
Because of course he did. Because of course he did.
And so we just now it's just like we've seen it so many times, so many places. Now we've seen all this, and now it's the mother of Thor. It went from
Gaia.
Freya was it? Gaia. Then Freya became his stepmother. Now Gaia isn't it? And now the Phoenix entity was when they all worked together as the original Avengers.
Which again doesn't make sense because we literally just saw Thor tap into Gaia's powers.
So I think she's lying just to mess with Thor, because that would make no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense considering Thor literally just used Gaia's powers like a few comics ago.
Exactly. But like I said, man, so many things have changed. This comes to grab how I feel with some people, the comic book readers. Stop changing so much stuff. I can understand the reboots with DC, how you went from pre-crisis, post-crisis, New 52, Flashpoint reboot. I can understand that. But, Marvel doesn't do reboots unless you want to count Secret Wars in 2015.
Which is sort of like they count as a reboot, but it's like a soft one. It's not like a hard one.
So honestly, with the Phoenix and how Mjolnir, like everybody can lift it now, I can understand these people grasping. I feel like, and then recently, that's a spoiler. I'm about to say recently somebody new just picked it up that we never thought he picked it up. Venom, he picked up Mjolnir. Eddie Brock, he just picked it up. I don't think we need this tournament of Phoenix. I don't. So that's my say on it.
Y'all agree? You comic book people?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna agree. The idea, like on paper, the idea of a Phoenix tournament is a good idea, but we're all just kind of sick of looking at the Phoenix. The same problem that Darkseid had in Post-Crisis, where he was just showing up all the time. That's the problem we're having with Phoenix now. It's just like you're not cool anymore. You're not interesting. It's not special anymore.
It's like now it's like, oh, the Phoenix gonna show up. Oh, it's power.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, again, we just saw it 2 weeks ago.
It's like, well, I'm going to bring this back to one of my other fandoms. You know the difference between a Austin St. John appearance in Power Rangers and a Jason David Frank appearance in Power Rangers?
The difference?
Yeah, the difference. Like, you know why whenever Tommy shows back up, people are just like, oh, hey, it's Tommy again. Whereas when Jason shows back up, it's like, oh my God, it's Jason. Because Jason David Frank keeps showing up. He doesn't even go a full 5 years before his next appearance. Whereas with Austin St. John, when he appeared in Beast Morphers, that was the first time we'd seen him in 15 years. So it was this epic reveal, this epic moment. We're like, oh my God, it's Jason. Jason's back. Whereas again, with Jason David Frank playing Tommy Oliver, is like he shows up in Dino Thunder. He spends 5 years in Power Rangers just back to back. And you're like, okay, cool. He shows back up in Dino Thunder. We're like, oh, and that's the first time he shows back up. And we was like, oh my God, Tommy's back. And then he shows back up in
again
a bunch of. Then he shows back up again, and we were like, oh, okay, Tommy's back. And then he shows back up in Super Mega Force, and you're like, oh, hey, it's Tommy again. And then he shows up a year later in Ninja Steel, and we're like, dude, give us time to miss you. I hate to admit
totally get it.
I hate to admit it, but maybe Marvel and DC have a point about brand dilution. Showing if you only use the character very rarely, it makes the times they do appear more special. And with the Phoenix, the Phoenix has not been special for a while because we've seen the Phoenix back to back to back to back for the past 7 years.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't been a year go out without the Phoenix showing up, and not just reference, but showing up,
like physically showing up.
Hey man, speaking of Power Rangers, man. Speaking of that Zeo Power Rangers intro was that heat.
Oh yeah.
I'm just putting the information because y'all mentioned Power Rangers.
No. I agree. Zeo was like,
bro, hold on. I think I might have it. Hold on.
I knew what was coming.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. While you're playing music, can you do me a favor?
What's that?
Can you hit while we're talking? Since we just played Go Zeo, can you hit up Go Gold Ranger?
Yeah.
And DJ Casio is now spinning the mic on the ones and twos. He's taking requests at this time.
It is what it is.
He's taking requests at this time.
Like all due respect to the Green Ranger and White Ranger themes, like those were dope, but Go Ranger blew them out of the water.
I'm gonna take a listen. This is it.
Yeah, this is it. Plus, he was the only one who got a music video.
Oh wow, Red Ranger's Gold Ranger. I didn't actually know
that. Yeah. I mentioned that Jason Lee Scott, the Red Ranger, became the Gold Ranger.
Oh, this is when I stopped watching.
Yeah,
I stopped watching when he showed up.
Dang, you missed the best parts.
Yeah. Probably can't do the whole music video, bro.
No. We'll get sued by Saban, but yeah.
But I don't know if he got the White Ranger intro.
I just have to put this out there. So the Planet Podcast does not own any rights to this music because now that this is in the background, I'm gonna have to make sure this is noted out there.
So Planet
Podcast does not own rights.
Yeah, we don't own.
Man, I don't know, man. I think the White Ranger thing might have that one beat. It might have it beat. Hold on. This is it.
Here.
White.
This is our childhood, people. All right, we're done.
Go right, Ranger. Go right, Ranger.
All right.
Right,
you don't have to leave.
Right
we're done.
Now. You're right.
We're done.
Hold up.
This was our childhood, people. We're done.
I'm sorry.
So
No, but no. I just got finished beating Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've had it for a while, and they just
Part
released it,
one.
I think, for free on PS4, like PS Now, not PS Now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, PS
no, I
Plus.
think that's PS
Yeah.
Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, PS
Whatever.
Plus. It's a free download. God, it's a good game. I just finished beating through it. So anybody who was fans of the previous game with Final Fantasy, I think will be pleasantly, surprised with how good like this game is, with how much detail they put into it, with how much
Is it
time they obviously took into creating the game. But
is it better than 13? Because me and 13 had problems.
13's the one of Lightning, right?
Yes.
Well, see, I didn't play through 13, so I can't really give you too much of a synopsis on it. I mean, I just know it's amazing. Like the 7 remake is leaps and bounds better than what I thought it was like gonna be, because
Yeah.
I didn't give it too much of a chance because it was episodic, and changed so much about the gameplay, and just it was so different from what I was used to. But once I got rid of the nostalgia glasses and took those off, and I just decided to like open up my mind to accept whatever this game has to offer, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
couldn't stop playing
Yeah.
it.
I was just joking about the 13 thing. I've already played it. I know it's better than 13.
Oh, okay, it's good. My bad. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, if anybody was on the fence about whether or not they should pick the game up or try the game, if you played the original Final Fantasy VII, yes, you should definitely pick up the remake. If you haven't played Final Fantasy VII, the original, yes, you should play the remake. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's good for people who are new to RPGs like I was. Final Fantasy VII was the game that introduced me to RPGs. He's the first one that I beat. Like once I beat this game, I went back and I beat Chrono Trigger. You know what I mean? Just because I'm like, oh snap, RPGs are kind of cool. So I went back and I played Chrono Trigger and I beat that game after I beat Final Fantasy VII for the first time. So it was a game that introduced me to
Again,
RPGs.
again, and no one talks about Chrono Cross, which I feel is a really good sequel to Chrono Trigger, and I'm annoyed people just ignore it.
Oh,
I will fight anyone who calls it a bad game, like in the street, in the street, in the parking lot, wherever. Come at me.
okay.
He said these hands is E-rated for everyone. That's what he said.
Yeah. Basically, I mean,
I've
I
heard
can.
good things about the remake. I have to admit.
Yeah,
So
it's actually really good. I like
Yeah.
what they did.
If you haven't played it, Medusa, maybe. I mean, I know you're a
so
gamer, but
I am but I have like an uneasy is the wrong word. I can never think of the word. I have like an up and down, like a roller coaster relationship with Final Fantasy because I was playing Final Fantasy when it was like I can't even tell you where I left off. I feel like I left off before 7. It may have been after 7. I don't know. I was playing Final Fantasy before it became the role playing game that it is now. You know what I'm saying? With with the old ass graphics and you taking turns to do this and taking turns to do that. Like
yeah.
it for me, it lost. Like I learned when I was playing those games that I don't like those kinds of games.
I will say to treat this as a brand new like installment. Like
Okay.
forget
So
all the previous.
if I play it, will I get lost? Like, do I have to play previous
No,
games to understand anything in
no,
it?
no,
Well,
no.
Okay.
no. Every Final Fantasy game is standalone, despite the fact that
Okay.
they have numbers. They're all basically
It's
just
an anthology. Like
yeah,
Okay.
Final Fantasy is an anthology. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
yeah.
So
But
specifically part 7. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII for the Final Fantasy VII remake. Some of the twists in the plot will make more sense as twists if you played the original, but you don't need.
You don't have to.
But you don't have to. You can just enjoy it as its own story.
They have an update for this. They have I forgot what it was called, and I hate the fact that I don't know what it's called right now. But there is a DLC, an upgrade for this game, but it's on the PS5 only.
Hmm.
So I'm almost positive that this game won't be able to be continued past this the first installment or whatever. You won't be able to play this game on a PS4 past this like set of
Yeah.
episodes. If
Yeah.
you want to play the game, more than likely you're gonna have to purchase a PS5. So
Ah,
that's my only thing, because I'm like PS5. The things that's gonna get me to buy a PS5 is telling me that I can only play Final Fantasy VII, the rest of the story on the PS5, and telling me that they're gonna make a Metal Gear Solid remake. Like that I'm sold already on the $1,000 for the PS5. All right, come on, wrap it up. Let's go put it in the back. Put it in the back. They said they announced Metal Gear, so I go and put it in the back. Go ahead on, put it in the
Listen, we
all
talked
good.
about on the previous podcast where they're making like Xbox One Series X exclusives. So I have to have a Series X to like play some of these games, and I'm so I feel you, because I'm telling you, like, there's another Gears game that has to come out. Hey, we're
Yeah.
still waiting on
All right.
Halo, and I am still waiting on it. And I'm telling you, if they make these Series X exclusives, well, I know what I'm getting Black Friday. Like, let's go ahead and I'm gonna pre-order it and
Yeah,
everything. I'm gonna have to get it because I need it. I'm gonna need it. So I
I
feel
feel
you.
you.
I feel you on that. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of things on the podcast. We've talked about Ray Fisher. We've talked about New Gods being canceled and the fact that it is the Snyderverse's fault. But I don't agree with the dark side sentiment. You know what I'm saying? Well, with the WB's reason for the dark side sentiment. We talked about Marvel and if they really needed to do the Tournament of the Phoenix. We have talked about the Final Fantasy VII remake and how it is a wonderful game, and that I'm going to try to look for it, to see if it's available on the Xbox
fantastic.
store, and whatever. So, I mean, I feel like it's a good way for us to go ahead and, end the podcast. So, let's go ahead and have our final thoughts. So, Toku Terry, what are your final thoughts about everything we talked about?
My final thoughts are: one, we need a live action Orion at some point in the near future. That is just something we need to happen. Two, play Final Fantasy VII, and if you can't play it, look at online videos of it. Three, Joss Whedon, rot in a pit somewhere. If you could do that for me, that'd be great. Thanks. And that's it.
All right, Cassio, what are yours?
Well, yeah, Ray Fisher. I hope he gets the justice that he's looking for. I do hope everything goes well for him. Honestly. Yeah, New Gods, man. I was really happy to look forward to see something else from Ava, to see some more work from her. So I'm disappointed in the fact that I don't get to see another piece of work from Ava DuVernay, especially one that's tied in with nerd culture.
Right.
So that was, like I said, that's a little a bit of a letdown. But I mean, I'm sure she's gonna bounce back and do something else. But I was very much interested in seeing like what she could do with this. I really was. And I still think the White Ranger theme is better than the Gold Ranger theme. Just saying.
I am not going to take that
I don't have my
personally.
hat.
It's just creative differences.
It's all good.
And Final Fantasy VII remake. Like I said, like I bought this game when it first came out, and just popped it in like on the bookshelf. You know what I'm saying? It just boom, it's been sitting there, and it's been sitting there with all the rest of the other games that have just been sitting there. And I decided to pull it out. I decided to like let me see if I could like jump back in this game. And once I started playing, I couldn't stop. So it's definitely a recommended game. Definitely a recommended game for me. Other than that, that's it. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out.
My quick final thoughts, again, I agree with everybody else. Again, my apologies to Ray Fisher. I definitely agree you went through some bullshit, and I wish you well in future endeavors. Hopefully we'll see you in something super hot out here soon, super big. I don't have nothing to say about the Tourney of the Phoenix. I kind of zoned out on that part because I'm not a comic nerd. I listen. Like I heard that the Phoenix might be Thor's mom. So that means that Odin was slanging his thing around. I think that's how that goes. I don't know how you. I'm just gonna leave it there. That's just gonna leave it there because I don't know. As far as Final Fantasy, you know what I'm saying? Again, if it's on the store, I'll definitely check it out. And whatever. Because I mean, it sounds like it's something worth. And I do game a lot, and I'm always looking for something new to play. So I'll check it out if it's there. And so, just once again, I want to thank, all of my fellow podcasts, my team, you know what I'm saying, for being on this podcast with me. Toku Terry, happy birthday once again. You know what I'm saying? We love you. We hope you enjoy what's left of your birthday today. Once again, you can catch the Planet Podcast on YouTube. You can catch us on Spotify, and you can catch us on Google Podcasts. So, with all of that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. And again, everybody be safe, be amazing. And, we'll see y'all next time. Okay. Oh, catchphrases. Sorry, catchphrases.
Yeah. Be more phenomenal, everyone. Stay safe. Stay awesome.
Cassio.
And as always, don't believe the hype.
I don't have one. I'm gonna come up with one. That's gonna be my homework for next time. I'm gonna come up with one. That's what I'm gonna do. So all right, y'all. We will catch y'all next time. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.